The White Perch by Sawyer. The white perch has multiple names. It's commonly known as the white perch, mostly due to its color. It's pretty white, and it looks like a perch. It's scientifically known as the Morone americana. They aren't a true member of the perch family, despite their name. They're actually part of the temperate bass family, and they're referred to as silver bass by many people and fishermen. Due to their silvery color, they're very shiny, and of course, they're part of the bass family. Where were they introduced from? They're native to the Atlantic coastal region of the United States, the shaded brown area on the map below to the left. It's the East Coast, all the way from North Carolina almost up to Canada. It has invaded the Great Lakes and certain waters in the Midwest. That's the red shaded area. There's a question mark on Colorado because there's been sightings of white perch there, but they're not for sure in waters in Colorado. It was introduced into the Great Lakes in the 1950s, and it's spread throughout there. It's not commonly known how they were spread. It could have just been through lakes and rivers, they just swam about, or it could have been from actually people taking them out of one part of water and then putting them in another. Environmental impact. They are invasive competitors, so they compete with the native walleye, which are pickerel, as we probably know them, for food. They throw off the cycle in that ecosystem because they eat young eggs, insects, worms, crustaceans, and small pieces of animal debris. This can cause algal blooms because many of those things that they eat actually eat things that can cause algae, and they could even eat the algae. And when there's nothing to eat the algae, it'll bloom up, and that can be pretty toxic. This eating of walleye eggs causes the population of things the walleye eat to go up because there's, no walleye eating them, and whatever ate the walleye to go down because there's no walleye for them to eat. Walleye are great for fishing because they are big and are great for eating. If the invasive perch keep eating their eggs, this will mean less walleye for fishermen. Economic impact. Pros, there's been around 500,000 pounds of white perch caught commercially in the US and Canada each year, which is equivalent to over $100,000 per year. Another pro is that part of their diet is another invasive species, like a water flea. It's in the bottom left picture. Yeah, that's good because getting rid of other invasive species, those species probably throw off the cycles too. Cons, they're taking over the fish population in the Great Lakes, which can be really bad for fishermen and whatnot because if they take over the population and there's no walleye, no good fish to eat. Effects on human health. There's no direct effects on human health, as perch are safe to eat. They don't release any toxins, and they're just clean animals, or clean fish, I guess. But the overeating of lower trophic levels can cause algal blooms because if they eat up all the eggs and other things that could eat algae and eat the seaweed and whatnot in the waters, the algae will just spread, and algal blooms can be very toxic to humans and even cause death in some cases. How were they introduced? They just swam. That's the common theory. They migrated throughout the lakes, just swimming through streams and rivers and lakes and whatnot. There's probably some human interference, like people probably introduced them on purpose because they thought that it would be a good idea, or they wanted that type of fish in their stream or whatnot. They must have gone through rivers and streams, yada, yada, yada. They were first accounted to be in Lake Erie in the 1930s, and then spread throughout the Great Lakes rapidly from the 1930s to about the 1960s. I'm pretty sure they were unintentionally introduced into Lake Erie but now it is unlawful, misdemeanor, which means you can get charged to possess, import, purchase, transport, or introduce the species into any water. Yeah, of course, because they're invasive and they can hurt the population of other animals. Interesting facts: they lay 150,000 eggs each time they have a litter of eggs. They're about 20 inches long and about 2.5 pounds, which is super light for how long they are. They're very skinny animals. They can also feel vibrations in the water. I'm not really sure how they do this. It could be something similar to bats, like with sonar or something, or it could be something completely different. And the largest white perch ever caught was only 3.1 pounds. It's pretty crazy. That'll do it for the white perch. The greater prairie chicken, an endangered species by Sawyer. Some background. They're scientifically known as the Tympanuchus cupido. They're a type of grouse, which is like a small little chickeny bird. Yeah. There's roughly 400,000 left spread out across North America. And they are mammals and a species of bird, obviously. They're very similar to a typical farm chicken. If you look at the picture here, you can see where they are year-round now, up in Montana and North Dakota. There's a little bit, and then down throughout the Midwest of America, there's a little bit, and then down in Texas, there should be a couple spots here, maybe not. But historically, they were spread out throughout the grasslands of North America here, all the way down to Mexico. Habitat. Grasslands. Prairie chickens inhabit much of the Midwest, from Texas all the way up to here in Canada, spread out across the prairies in the Midwest. They don't migrate. They stay where they are all year round. So they're not like Canadian goose where they'll fly south. They'll just dig in and find a little hole in the ground and just tough it out like grizzly bears. They build nests in the ground, obviously to keep them warm. They eat grass and leaves in the warmer months and sunflowers and seeds during winter. The sunflowers come in clutch because, of course, they're super tall, so they don't get buried in the snow. And as you can see in the picture again, this is kind of where they historically inhabited throughout North America. Why are they endangered? The conservation of grasslands to farmland. As you know, throughout the industrial age, grasslands have been overtook by farmland. They've been converted due to our growing population. We need more food. So we've taken lots of this pretty grassland like you see in the bottom left here and turned it into what we now would know as the prairies. Big farmland. Also, the expansion of cities plays a big part in this. Cities take up quite a bit of land these days, and lots of that, like Chicago, Winnipeg, Brandon, they're all in prairie areas, so that used to be places that prairie chickens could be found. They are extirpated from Canada, as they're completely extinct in our region. There is certain species of prairie chicken in Canada still, but according to the Canadian Conservation, they're completely extirpated from Canada, this species of prairie chicken. Only 1% of Canada's original tallgrass prairies are left. How are they being protected? They're being protected through reserves, through many wildlife reserves. Okamic Marsh, I'm pretty sure you can find prairie chickens there, and throughout many other places. Yellowstone National Park, you could probably find some there, although that is not a super typical spot that prairie chickens would live. They would still be there in small population. National parks, like I just said, there's many efforts and funds have been strung out to try and restore and conserve the population. Interesting facts. They can run over 9 miles per hour. They only live around 3 years, which males attract females by doing a dance of love, which is kind of funky.
It's a strange, intricate, very specific dance, aimed like an arrow right at a chicken lady's heart. But what exactly do these birds find so appealing about all of this? Well, one thing that's been suggested is that complex mating dances like this one might really be connected to higher cognitive function. In short, these females might actually prefer the smartest chicken on the lek. The better the dance, the smarter the bird. And this bird can dance. But the thing is, it's never a done deal. Especially when you let other instincts get in the way. One chicken booming on another guy's booming ground, well, let's just say that's frowned upon. The problem is, these boys can get so caught up in macho posturing, showing each other who's boss, that our ladybirds actually start losing interest in them. Yikes. So, if chicken ladies really do prefer smarts, they might just be feeling the same way about it we women do. That it's just, well, a bit stupid. Sorry, just the truth.